Hello and welcome to Sab the Apple. Today we're going to take a more detailed look at mods and how to properly level them and find out what the max level for every mod is. This is going to come in very handy as you're leveling up your Warframe and weapons, as well as once you hit max level. As we can see here, my Excalibur Prime is a rank 12, so if we take a look at it, it's Orokin unlocked, so that gives me 24 mod points. One of the main abilities I don't use, the other ones I do. As you can see, I've got 3 additional slots with polarity, which are these little symbols up on the top right corner that we discussed last time. If you match up the polarity, you get a reduced cost in the points value. If you use opposite polarities, it turns red, increases the point cost, and if it goes into a blank spot, the card costs exactly what it states on the card itself. So, in this case, I've got 5 points, and I want to put continuality on there. I want to make these 2 abilities last longer. Now, this only cost me 2 points because I have the slot with the right polarity to match it up. So that leaves me 3 more points. That's not good enough for me. 5% power duration is not enough. I want more. I've got 3 more points that I can fit into this Warframe at the moment. So we'll take this out and we'll go into mods. All we have to do is find a copy of the card, hit fusion like I showed before, and what I showed before was that we can use a number of these little cards and fusion cores to level up this card. In this case, we've already got it up to a rare 2 at 15% power duration. Now, that's not very efficient, and I'll show you why. If we unclick all these, the things you want to look for are polarity of the card, as well as the rarity and the name of the card. Particularly if you have 2 cards that are the same polarity. If you use it to level up this mod, you're going to get 50% of the max XP of that mod. So that's going to be quite a bit. However, if it doesn't match the polarity, you're going to get 25%. So it's going to take 4 of these cards to equal 1 of these cards to equal 2 of these cards. So keep that in mind when you're leveling these up, because you can burn through cards very, very quickly. Also, another thing to note is these little notches on the left-hand side of the mod. These tell you how many times it can actually be leveled up in total. In this case, we can level this up from level 0, which it is currently, all the way up to level 5. Once it reaches level 5, you cannot make the mod any better than that. So just keep that in mind. Now, the easiest way to level these is to simply find a duplicate of the card. In this case, I do have a duplicate, so when we click on it, it automatically levels it, because you get 100% of the XP if you have one that matches the same name. Now, we want to level it up again, so we find another copy of the card. In this case, it only gets halfway. Now, the reason for this is the price goes up each time. It's 1 for 1, then level 2 would cost you 2, then level 3 would cost you 3, 4 would cost you 4, so on and so forth. So in this case, I know I have another copy of this card somewhere, so let's take a look. Now, as we're going through this, what I'm going to be looking for mostly is, do I have any other cards that I don't particularly need that have the same polarity? Those are the next ones I'm going to be using. But since I have a few copies of this, I'm going to go ahead and use them first. So now our card costs 6, and it's 15% power duration. Keeping in mind everything that we stated before, and also I noted last time about fusion cores. Well, fusion cores always act at 100% of their ability. So this will not automatically level the card, but you will get a flat rate of XP as opposed to a diminished rate depending on what the polarity of the cards are. These count as all polarities basically. So if I use a rare 5, it gets it to half. If I use another, it only gets it up a little bit more, and then I would have to use 2 more, and then a third. So now we had to use 5 of these rare 5 cards to get it up to the next level. That's because it takes more and more XP the higher the level it gets. So that makes the card cost 7. So we're going to go ahead and apply this. Go back to our Warframe, find it. We only have 7 points, but we do have a matching polarity. We put that on there, and that gives us 4. Now, theoretically, we could have leveled this 1 more time and still been able to fit it on here. So if you have the extra cards, go ahead and do it. Make sure you get the most out of your abilities when you're using them. Because like I said before, you get capped at 60 mod points total. So make sure you really know what you're using. And other normal Warframes. This is actually one you get with the Founders Pack, so that's why I have 3 additional polarities. Normal Warframes are only going to have 2 additional polarities, and they're almost always going to be the same type. In this case, it would be this little V. I believe on the Ember, it's these 2, and they're both a little dash. So that's another thing you have to keep in mind when leveling these cards. The last thing to note is your abilities. If you want to level this, we'll put // here. Now, as you can see, I have 2 copies of this card, right? When we go into mods, if we look for our /, let me see if I can find it real quick. The reason I'm not using the organizations at the bottom here is because mine's bugged and it kind of sends my cards all over the place. But we use this, we fusion, but if you notice, looking at all my pages, there is no other copy of /. So what that means is there is no easy way to level up this card. Any of your flat abilities for your Warframes, you are not able to use duplicates to automatically level them. You really need to keep that in mind when you're leveling up your cards. So we're going to cancel out of this, go back, put our /- back on, hit apply, and we're done. I hope this guide has been informative. If you like it, please click like, share with other people, leave us a comment if you'd like to see other guides like this in the future. I'm Van Draven. I'll see you next time.